to that body. And all we're going to do is a few 3 to 4 roll downs, rolls ups. As we reach the chest tall, let the arms follow, and arms back down to your side, chin into chest, let the arms hang and roll through that spine down towards the floor. We've done it a few times now, so you can do it at your rhythm as you roll yourself back up to standing. Remember that chest tall as the arms follow, then those arms back down to your side. It's really undervalued rolling the skeleton in this shape as you roll vertebra by vertebra down towards the floor and roll yourself back up to standing. Trying not to hinge as best you can 2 or 3 of those joints at the same time. As we chin into chest, let the arms roll forward, the shoulders roll forward, and then work your upper back, middle back, lower back, down towards the floor, and roll smoothly, letting those arms hang as you roll yourself back up to standing. Wow, this feels good after a long old day. And last one, chin into chest, let the arms hang, and let the belly soften, completely relax as you roll down towards the floor. Your hands can be to your thighs or to your shins or to the floor. Just keep that sensation through the back of the legs quite soft and a little walk out of the legs. We'll do this a couple of times, so don't even worry too much about how much you straighten the legs just here. One at a time, softly, softly walking the legs out. It's late in the day, you've either just done a session or got back in from a long day at work. Let the body know what we're going to ask it to do. Don't force the body into doing. Before bringing those hands to the mat, a nice little bend in the knees. Step the right leg all the way back. Drop that right knee to the floor, and as you exhale, come nice and tall through the fingertips. Arms back down to the side. We love this one for cyclists, just dipping the chest towards the floor. Little press up and out of it. Keep the hips square and neutral as you reach the fingertips tall. And back down to the mat. Little bend at the elbows. We're not digging deep, we're just drifting towards the floor and pressing back up and out of it. As you bring those arms nice and tall, maybe sinking the hips as you seek a long line from that back knee through to the hips. Back down to the floor. Little bend at the elbows. Chest leads down towards the ground. As we come back up and out of it, try find some length through the spine. You'll almost rock onto the very top of that knee. And then at the bottom of the thigh. And then as you exhale, rotate through the spine to your left. Come back up out of it. Length through the spine. Maybe bringing the arm in this time as you rotate to the left. Back down to the mat. Always seek your length as you return. And exhale, rotate through lower spine, mid spine, upper spine. Back down to the mat. One last time. Roll onto the very top of the knee, the bottom of the thigh. And as you exhale, roll to your left. Rotating through that lower spine, mid spine, upper spine. Before drawing those hands back towards the back knee and gently sitting back onto that foot folded under. If at all you're ever a little uncomfortable here, feel free to have a few cushions, maybe one underneath the bottom, and all we're aiming to do is keep soft through this left knee. As you exhale, the relaxed belly hinge down towards the thigh, just a little inhale, press back up out of it. Exhale, a little dip of the belly down towards the thigh and back up out of it. If you've gone to 8 out of 10, you've pushed too far. Just softly, softly knock on the door of that hamstring, come back up and out of it. One more time, soft bend in the knee, little rock towards the shin, and press back up out of it. Soft through the knee, walk yourself forward and draw the abs in as you step that left leg back. Knees together, draw the abs in, lower the chest down towards the ground and press back up out of it. Keep those elbows narrow as the chest leads down towards the ground, press yourself back up out of it. Nicely done. Hips don't sink as we lower all the way to the floor and completely relax through the body. Relax that belly, wriggle through the hips, soften through the lower spine, walk the ribs away from the hip bones, and then gently, gently start to walk the forearms back in towards your ribs. Take your time. They don't need to come right underneath the shoulders just yet. You can keep the feet away from each other. Rolling the shoulders back and reaching tall through the chest. As you scoot the elbows a little closer towards the ribs, you'll feel them just settle underneath those shoulders. And try as best you can late in the day not to get lazy into that lower spine. Try reach the chest through nice and tall. Brilliant, brilliant. You can tell I've got a little bit of a gripe with how any back bends are coached. Always seeking length through the spine, not compression. And then we lower ourselves back down to the mat. Knees to the mat, draw the abs in, press yourself up, and that left leg we just worked, send that left leg out to the side. Exhaling as you rock the bottom back towards the heels. Inhale as you hinge yourself out of it a little. 3 more. Exhaling as you sink down towards the floor. And inhale as you walk out of it. Maybe a bend in the knee often helps. Exhaling, straightening the legs, sending bum back towards heel. Inhale out of it, and exhale back into it. Maybe a little sit here for a moment or two, but keep the motion. Try rotate through that hip joint as you roll the toes towards the ceiling and up away from you. As you rotate those toes, feel the femur gently loosen off in that hip socket. Soft bend in the knee, walk yourself forward and just step that left foot alongside the right knee. As you start to walk the hands back and gently sink the heel towards the floor, remember this one, just keep your weight forward. Little rock forward out of the stretch. Exhaling back into the stretch. Don't chase a deep stretch here just yet. As you rock yourself out of it, use these next 2 glides to gently explore and allow the body to let you come into a deeper soleus stretch. That last one as you rock yourself forward. By now the body knows what we're doing. You can sit the heel back towards the ground, keep your weight forward. Nice little gap between your heel and the floor here to get that 2-way stretch at the bottom, the top of the Achilles, the belly of that connective tissue between the soleus and the gastrum. As you walk yourself forward to the top end of your mat, curl the toes under, press yourself up nicely into a down dog. Everything's purposely soft and supple and just gently, gently walking out as those calves. Right heel to the mat, left heel to mat. These are things we encourage throughout the whole series, but tonight its main emphasis is on this gliding technique. And instead of you seeking a long, strong stretch, you're just using your own motion to lubricate the body and soften the fascia as you walk 1 foot at a time back up to the very top of your mat and roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra to standing. As you reach that chest tall and the arms follow, we're going for 3 each side as you reach up and over to your right, back into center, reach it up and over to your left. Keep the reach through both side bodies as you reach both fingertips away from the body, back into center and back over the other way. Last one each side. Nice reach, root through that left foot and back through neutral and finally back over to your left. As you bring that back to center, spin the arms behind you down to your side, chin into chest, roll through the spine back down towards the ground. Both hands to the floor, stepping the left leg all the way back. And you'll want to plant the knee fairly far back if you can. And as you come up nice and tall, try to keep a neutral pelvis even though the knee is quite far behind you. Dropping the hands just inside the leg, little dip of the chest. You'll know where, you'll get a message as where it's too far. Press yourself up and out of it. Drive that left hip forward a little as you reach tall through the fingertips. Brilliantly done. And drop yourself back down to the floor. Little dip of the chest. Some of us go far. I'm just here, a dip of an inch basically. Press yourselves back up and out of it. Last one. Try slide onto the very top of the knee, the bottom of the thigh as you maybe dip a little deeper. And back down to the deck. Notice how with each glide, the body just opens itself. And then as we come up onto the fingertips of that left hand, the only reason we do that is so that we can create length through the spine and the hip flexors. As you come tall through the chest, then rotate through the spine towards your right. Coming back down into center, refine that length. And as you exhale, rotate to the right. Back down to the mat, coming out of it a little. Twice more as we rotate to the right through that lower spine, mid-spine, upper spine. And back down to the mat. Try, keep that length for your final twist. And back down to the mat. Walking the hands back to that knee, sitting the bottom back on that awkward top of the foot. Shouldn't feel awkward, it just does because we are in shoes most of the day. And as you exhale, a little fold of the chest towards the thigh. And back up out of it. 3 more. As you exhale, gently drawing the right hip back as you fold the belly down. And back up out of it. You'll feel the message. You'll feel your thigh maybe tense or the hamstrings really feel like it's just a bit too much of a stretch. Just stay on the right side of that knock. Last one. Exhaling, little dip of the chest down towards the ground. Nicely done. Pressing yourself up and out of it. And as we rock ourselves forward to scoot the right foot back alongside or just behind the left knee. And as you exhale, send the bottom back towards the ground. And remember, just keep your weight forward so the heel's not getting there. As you inhale, a little glide forward. And as you exhale, heel to the mat. Reaching forward through the chest. Inhale, come out of that stretch, curl those toes under, have a nice stretch through the soles of the feet. Exhale, bum down towards the heel, heel towards the floor. Last one is your little rock forward. And by this 4th one, you might feel more confident and comfortable to sit into the stretch, using virtually all your weight into the back of that heel. Great one if you spend any amount of time in heels or in cycling shoes for argument's sake. Rocking yourself forward, sending that right leg out to the side, and as you exhale, a little drop back of the bottom towards the heels. Little reach forward, up and out of it. And our exhales are powerful in relaxing the muscles. That's when we come back into it. Inhale, fight or flight breath. Exhale, rest, digest breath. Rest, recovery breath. Little rock up and out of it. And our 4th, little slide back down into it. Couple of moments here as you either pause in this and try let the femur be a dead weight, or a little spin of the foot side to side, up towards the ceiling and away from you. Just mobilizing through that hip socket, maybe getting slightly different sensations through the inner groin. And then walking yourself forward, both hands to the top end of the mat as you scoot that right leg in. Press yourself up through those feet, through those hands, into your down dog. A nice little bend at the knees as you inhale, and as you exhale, a little straighten of the legs. Inhale, bend at the knees. Exhale, send the heels towards the floor. Inhaling, bend at the knees. Exhaling, keeping the spine long, heels towards the ground. Last one, little bend at the knees. Exhale, heels to feet to the floor. Start to press through those hands. Walk yourself back towards those feet. And roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra to standing. As you come up nice and tall through that chest, take that interlock of the fingers and reach those palms towards the ceiling. A little reach through the left palm over to above your right ear. Come back into center and reach that right palm up and over the left ear. One more time each side as you just hinge over to the side, trying to keep the waist where it began, coming back into center and up and over to the left. Try relax the shoulders as you release the hands, chin into chest, roll through your spine down towards the mat. We'll walk the hands out all the way into your strong plank and a strong lift through the abdominals as we never let the hips sink here in our strong Tadasana. That push away from the mat and that squeeze of the bum to make it a really effective strong plank. And as we lower the knees to the floor, we'll worm our way down towards the ground, rolling through that spine, but always reaching the chest towards that top end of the mat. As you settle to the floor and you have a little wriggle through the hips, feel soft, your little shuffle is very new to you. You grab back and reach that top of the left foot and maybe the top of the right foot. You can always grab the strap if it just needs, if it relaxes the shoulders a little more. To begin with, you can maybe start with the knees apart. And as and when you feel comfortable, you can start to draw the knees a little bit closer. As you exhale, I want you to send the hip bones down towards the floor. Inhale, and you can arch the bum up towards the ceiling. And exhale, drive those two hip bones down towards the floor. Inhale, a little arch away from the mat. And exhale, drive into the mat. Last one, little arch release through those quads. And exhale, back into it. Drawing the heels towards your bottom. Rolling those shoulders back. And maybe drifting those knees together. Before releasing the feet, letting them return back down to the floor. Hands alongside your ribs, knees to the mat. Press yourself up and scoot those forearms into the knees. Bring that chin in towards your chest. And just allow the spine to flex towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, flatten through the back. Reach the chest through the arms. Arch your bum towards the ceiling. Then revert back into that flex spine, chin into chest. Let the shoulder blades slide away from each other. And draw yourself back into the flat back, arching that bum up towards the ceiling. Last round, chin into chest, flex through the spine. And as you exhale, create your flat back. Walk the hands forward, curl the toes under, and press yourself up into your strong, strong down dog. As you find your down dog, feet hip width or so apart now. Roll onto the outside of the left foot, inside of the right foot. And come back into neutral and spin through the other side. Keeping the hips high, we'll get a nice length through the side body. Drawing back into center. A little squeeze of the right bum, single leg downward dog. And then step through between your hands. As you come up nice and tall, through the fingertips, exhaling as you sink down towards the ground, inhaling as we come back up out of it. Exhaling as we sink, it's a straight down drop if we can, inhaling back up out of it. Try to keep the hips square as we sink down towards the deck and back up out of it. Last one, down towards the deck, back up out of it. Both hands to the mat, step the back leg forward, and as we roll up vertebra by vertebra, shift all that weight into the left foot. Spread those toes, connect that feet as you release the right foot away from the floor. Bring that knee towards your chest. You can scoot the hands underneath the thigh if you wish, or draw around the shin, bringing the knee towards your chin. Releasing that knee as you send the leg back behind you. We've just lengthened the quads, so hopefully reaching back for that heel towards your bottom. A little bit of a stretch whilst we work some stability as we hinge the chest a little towards the floor. Remember, try lift the thigh bone up towards the ceiling as you hinge your chest. Find that little biting point through the quad and then come back. Release the foot, swoop it through, bring the knee back up towards your chin. We'll do this 3 times each. Working a lot of stability through that left foot, through the left bum as you release the foot and come into your quad stretch to begin with. Knees together, hips tall. And then as you hinge the chest, maybe a little lower this time. And remember that right thigh wants to flex. It wants to drop towards the floor. Keep the lift up towards the ceiling. Soft through the knee before returning yourself back into neutral. Come tall into that knee in towards your chin. And if you wish, wrapping the inside of that foot to the inside of the left thigh or the left calf. Ideally just not the knee. So I'll show you front on. Hopefully you can see a classic tree pose. Keeping a soft knee in that standing leg and trying to keep this hip up and over the foot where it started, and sending that abduction, that right knee out to the side. As you release the foot and send one last time back behind you, nice lovely quad stretch, should feel quite nice by now, and you start to hinge the chest down towards the ground. Keep that lift in the femur and try to keep the hips square and level as you find your strong stretch. Releasing the foot back down to the deck. Always worth shaking the feet off briefly. You might wish to curl the toes under and have a little rest of the top of the foot towards the floor. Little release and a nice tall reach up above your head. Take that interlock of your fingers if you wish. And spin the arms all the way back behind you before letting them settle, then chin into chest. Roll through the spine, down towards the floor. With both hands to the mat, have another little walk out through the back of the legs. If ever you want to stretch the hamstrings and you find yourself trying to touch the toes, please utilize this glide more than that for your hamstrings. Just walk one leg out at a time, not really attacking a deep reach for the toes, just letting the legs gently soften. With both hands to the mat, stepping the legs all the way back, drawing those abs in as you stay strong through your plank. Dropping that chest down towards the ground. And as we visit a few seal poses here, set yourself up nicely. So a little wriggle through the hips to soften through the spine. And we'll come into it 4 times, so don't chase it. You can have the feet apart for the first one. Gently reach that chest a little bit away from the floor. Remember, those hands are about half distance away from the body. And slowly lower back down. A little squeeze of the bum as you drag the chest to the top end of the mat and maybe lift all the ribs away from the floor. Slowly lower back down to the mat. The shoulders are rolled back and the shoulder blades slide down your back as you squeeze your bottom and maybe lift towards your belly button. It's a nice lengthener through the abdominals. It's a nice reach tall through that back bend. Lower back down to the deck. Your call on how far you come into seal pose. You'll soon get a warning signal, and there's very little need in really chasing it too hard. You can get all the benefits from our first entry pose we did with seal pose, squeezing the bottom for that nice support through the lower spine. Dropping yourself back down to the floor, hands alongside the ribs, curl those toes under, a strong press back up into your down dog. Engage that left glute, single leg downward dog, and step through between your hands, coming up nice and tall through the fingertips. Ideally, your exhale as you sink straight down towards the floor. It'll feel backwards, remember, as we come up nice and tall. Exhaling, sinking down. Bending the back toes, bending the back knee, back up out of it. Last two, as we sink down, keep the reach through the fingertips. Back up out of it. Getting a nice stretch through that right thigh, right hip flexor as we sink. Strength through the left side. Both hands to the mat, stepping yourself forward, and it's about our 8th or 9th roll up, roll down already through the spine. How awesome as you shift all that weight into that right foot, reaching the left knee towards your chin. A little bit of stability through the right foot, right bum, as you reach the chest and the chin together. Try not to let the hips swing forward. As you release the feet, reach through and grab the back of the top of the left foot. A little draw of the knees together and almost trying to send the hips tall to the top of the wall in front of you. As you release that foot, draw the knee back up towards your chin. Testing any stability here, testing any, as you start to flex the chest down towards the ground, try not to reduce that angle. You start here at 180 degrees from your knee to your chest, and you're aiming to keep that 180 degrees as you hinge the chest towards the floor and the thigh bone towards the sky. Releasing yourself back up and out of it and forward. The muscles start to tire here. This is core stability. Can we, as we tire, keep that stability, keep that strength through the whole range of motion? In your tree pose, it'll be favorable on the calf or the thigh, ideally not the knee. And then release and reach through one last time. Lovely stretch, this one anyway, even if you do flex a little, but try and keep that length throughout. As you release that foot, step it all the way back to the back end of your mat. Draw the abs in as we step both legs back. And as we lower the chest, it's your call for chaturanga, seal pose, sphinx, or upward dog. As we roll those shoulders back and reach the chest through. Strong press through those hands, remember. Draw the abs in. Press yourself back for your down dog. Engage that right glute, single leg downward dog. And step that right knee just behind the right wrist. Walk the left foot away behind you. And with the left hand, gently scoot that right shin inwards towards the top end of the mat. Some of us will get quite square with it. I've got pretty poor flexibility through the outer hip. So it's about 15 degrees I'm bringing my shin here. And as we can keep out of it, or you can drop down towards the ground, but with each exhale, you're going to sink back into the mat. Your inhale is a little glide away from it. And as you exhale, back down towards the floor. Inhale, little rock away from it. And as you exhale, sink that left hip down towards the ground. Last one, little rock away from it, slight release. And as you exhale, left hip bone down towards the floor. Maybe feeling drawn to sink the chest and the forehead down towards the ground. We're sneaking in all of our classics tonight. The whole theme on glorious gliding is always nice. You'll feel absolutely amazing for this. Just fingers crossed you're never really digging too hard into a stretch. This is about feeling supple within your existing body. Start to walk those hands back up and out of it, back towards the knee. Scoot the shin straight underneath the thigh and switch sides as you bring the left knee behind the left wrist and send the right leg all the way back. Gently drawing that left shin towards the top end of your mat. Remember, I'm always keen to keep the knee where it started. And if you've got tight hips, that'll just keep the pressure away from that knee. And as you walk the right foot back, exhaling as you dip down into it. Little inhale, just press through the forearms as you roll out of it. And exhale as you dip back into it. Twice more. Little roll away from the stretch. You might even get a nicer sensation through the outer hip. And as you exhale, just gently sink the right hip down towards the floor. Last one, little roll, using your motion, remember, and as you exhale, back into it. Allowing the head to rest, either stacked to the fists or to the ground. Your call. Just staying that right side of that 7 out of 10. Walking the hands back up and out of it and scooting the left shin to come underneath the thigh. And as you step the right knee forward and the left knee back, always nice for a few rounds through the spine as we do a few rounds of cat-cow, inhaling as we arch and exhaling as we tuck under and flex through that spine. Inhaling as we arch through the spine, bum towards the ceiling. And exhaling as you tuck that pelvis under and send the mid-spine to the ceiling. Such a simple exercise, cat-cow. Inhaling as we arch, sliding the shoulder blades together. But super, super valuable as you bring that chin in towards your chest and let the shoulder blades drift apart. Rock the bottom back towards the heels and then drag the hands rolling through your spine as you sit back onto the heels. Rolling yourself through your spine up into seated and rolling those shoulders back as you reach the hands behind you. 4 times here as you reach the chest tall and maybe let the waist follow. Dropping back down to the floor, walk the hands forward, chin into chest. Let the fists drop to the ground as you roll through the spine down towards the ground. Let the shoulders drift away from each other as you roll yourself back up through that spine, letting the arms hang coming tall. Roll those shoulders back behind you. And as you exhale, chest tall, let the thighs follow if you wish. Almost seeking a little bit of an extension through the waist towards the ceiling. Back down to the mats. Let the shoulders roll forward onto the tops of the fists, chin into chest. Rolling down towards the ground. Soft through the belly, soft through the spine as you roll yourself back up through that spine. Rolling the shoulders back, reaching that chest tall. If you don't want to let the waist follow with both hands, feel free to take the weight into the right hand and release the left hand. And you might feel more inclined to reach back with that right hand. Getting a nice side body stretch as well as that back bend. As you draw yourself back down to the mat and roll through that spine, letting the arms completely hang, letting the spine completely soften, and rolling yourself back up through the spine, either settling for what you just did, but the opposite side. Strong press through the right hand, left arm up and over. But remember, it's a little reach of the thighs just to follow the chest towards the ceiling. And back down to the mat. Walk those hands forward, curl those toes under, press yourself up into that down dog. A little drop of the chest diagonally down towards the hands and diagonally press yourself back up. No need to go far if it's a big challenge through those shoulders, but if you've done this before and you feel comfortable, you sort of send the head down towards the floor and then glide diagonally back up, lengthening and strengthening through those lats. Last one, as you gently diagonally, either an inch or all the way, and diagonally back up. As you walk those feet back towards the top of your mat, really, really soft through the knees as you send the bottom down towards the heels. Little bit of a relax and sit arm to those heels. And then raise ourselves up onto your toes. A little drop of the heels back down towards the floor. And press back up out of it. It's a lengthener, but as we strengthen, you're coming tall as you're completing it, actively stretching, sinking the heels back down towards the floor and pressing yourself up and out of it. This time, as you drop both heels towards the floor, a little slide of that right knee down the side of the right hand. A little tap to the floor and switch sides. I love this one. Feet and hips, just getting the chance to completely mobilize as you dip the left knee towards the floor. And as you spin on the balls of the feet and switch sides, right knee down the forearm, gently draw the left knee back. If you wish, you can rotate that left chest towards the ceiling. Coming back into neutral and switching sides. Back down to the mat. Dropping that bottom back towards the heels, and we're just going to draw that chin in towards our chest and flex through the whole spine 4 times through as you reach the chest towards the thighs. Part the knees and send the chest through the thighs nice and tall. Let the shoulders roll forward. Let the shoulder blades slide away from each other as you bring the chin in towards your chest. And then round the shoulders back. Slide the shoulder blades down your back as you come tall on the sitting bones. One more time, chin into chest. Let everything completely switch off. Relax the belly. And then draw the chest through the thighs. But roll those shoulders back as you come tall through the knees. Rolling yourself back, maybe drawing the abs in to feel safe as you rock back down towards the ground. Reaching through for the outside of each shin or each foot and gently walking the legs out. You've been awesome tonight, just using your own motion. I know there's a lot of movement in this sequence. It's fairly relaxed. We still work a little bit of strength, a little bit of stability. But there's very rarely would have been a chance for you to think about much else other than how you were moving, which is such an awesome mindful meditation and connection to your body. As you walk those legs out one by one, we've hardly touched the back of the legs, yet they should actually start to feel quite supple because of all these walkouts we've been doing. Then as you bring the feet to the floor and the arms out to the side, whether the knees and the feet are stacked or not, or if they're together, we're just going to roll to the right, relax the belly for a micro pause, and then come back into center and roll to the left. We'll do it 4 times each side. So as you come back into neutral, you'll probably feel your abdominals engage. And as you roll to the right, I want you to completely relax the belly. As you come back through center, you'll feel the belly stiffen. And as you roll to the left, completely relax. And maybe a wriggle through the hips. Last time each side, as you come back into center. As you exhale and roll to the right, soft through that lower spine, shuffle through the shoulder blades. Coming back into center and roll to the left. Fantastic. Little shuffle through the body. I'm going to show you this side so you can stick to that left, or you can roll back towards your screen in a similar position if you wish. I'm going to roll my right shoulder up and over the left, and we're going to stack the knees and the feet for now. Stacking the hands, and walk the bottom leg straight down towards the bottom of the mat. And then with a real big bend in the knee, I want you to just walk the foot and the hand together. So the bend in the knee will really help get that foot into the hand. If by chance we're not able to reach the foot into the hand, please, 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 just grab your strap quickly. I'll show you the setup with the strap. But it looks like most of us are there. It's not too dissimilar. It's just the chance for you to relax a little through the shoulders. So you can use the strap, or you might have the reach. So here, as you have this bend in the knee, certainly on your inhale, a little more of a bend. And as you exhale, start to press the foot in to the hand. As you straighten the leg. Little inhale, bend at the knee. And exhale, straighten. Twice more. Inhale, bend at the knee. And exhale, straighten. Last one, as you inhale out of the stretch. And as you exhale, starting to straighten that leg into the hand. It's a little press of the foot into the hand. And this might be ample through the back of the leg, or very possibly your ITB. And if you feel comfortable here in this position, you can either start to shift the leg a little higher up the mat, or if you'd really like to visit a nice twist, keep that top arm close to your chest and start to roll the top shoulder blade down towards the floor. It's a brilliant, brilliant, nice stretch, a little bit intense to drive straight into it. You spend a whole evening of gliding. And by now the nervous system is chilled and is allowing you to come into quite a deep, intense stretch. As you roll that top shoulder back into neutral and have that big bend in the knee, gently slide the foot back into center. As you roll onto your back, you'll feel drawn to probably bringing those knees into your chest briefly and letting the lower back come away from the floor briefly, before returning those feet to the ground. And as you exhale, rolling both knees the opposite direction. Take a moment or two just to relax into that knee roll to the opposite side, to what you just did. and then roll across into your fetal shape. As you straighten that bottom leg, so it'll be directly under your head, so to speak, and then draw that top leg up into the bottom hand. Again, the strap if needed. We're all looking pretty good. Good bend in the knee, and on your next exhale, a little straighten of that leg. Inhale, bend at the knee. Exhaling, straighten. Or just straighten a little more. Inhale, bend. And exhale, straighten. Last one. Little inhale, bend. And exhale, straighten. Such a nice sensation through the back of the leg here. The twist involved. And quite likely, if you are on the bike at all in the week, you might feel this down between the knee and the hip down the side of the leg. Remember, feel free to roll that top shoulder blade back down towards the floor. But you might want to keep that arm close to the chest, just otherwise it's just a big heavy weight away from the body. Keep that heavy weight close to the body and just wait for the spine to allow you to come into the twist. Brilliantly done as you bend at the knee and slide back into neutral. As you bring those heels towards your bottom, let the knees roll away from each other briefly. Have a little mirror image of those feet as you let the weight of your hands maybe drop inside the legs. Before releasing those hands to the side and scooting those knees back in together. With the knees together, start to draw them in towards your chest, maybe chin in towards your chest. Before releasing those feet back down to the ground, and as you find your resting repose, having a little wriggle through your body, nobody else's. These sessions are all about you creating a connection to your physical presence. As you shuffle through that body and you find that comfort, I want you to anchor this feeling of relaxation. A lot of motion tonight. Now's your chance to seek that stillness. And calm that breath and slow that heart rate. Shavasana, very often yoga's most difficult pose, especially to athletes, as we're so used to being so active. Without these wind down moments, of being comfortable with stillness not only in the body but in your mind. Really valuable in entering that recovery state from all the hard work that you do. and all that fun we like to have. And as you sit in an emotion, I'd suggest tonight it should be a bit of pride. Just that pride in you being kind to your body. That pride in achieving some poses or holds that you've not done before or couldn't do last week. And as you anchor in that pride, there's no other emotion that can drift in to your thoughts right now. Remember, there will always be one or two thoughts drifting to distract you. That's the Western world we live in, that's the lives we all entail. It's down to you to gently give them the little nod and then send that thought on its way. This is your moment of stillness. Last two lengthened exhales. Feel free, as always, to stay in Shavasana as long as you wish. Or roll yourself onto your side. We always roll onto our right hand side to remember to encourage that return of blood flow. In your own time, pressing yourself up to seated. Namaste.